everybody, welcome to the Unstruggled Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Glenn. On this episode, we are on part 3 of the Gastroparesis Awareness Month podcast series. And on this, we have Steffi from the future, who's actually in New Zealand. So it's actually Monday for her. And of course, here in Indiana, it's Sunday for me. Steffi, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good today, to be honest. My body's being okay-ish, manageable.
Right. That's good.
How are you doing today?
I can't complain. Spent some time in the pool. We're not on lockdown, so went to the aquatic center, got nice and burnt from the sun. But, yeah, so it's been a good day. So, for those that have been following the journey, this is part 3 of the Gastroparesis Awareness podcast series. Now, I had no idea what gastroparesis was, of course, until I met Lauren and started following her journey. And it looks like you guys have built yourself a little tribe, and at least you all were able to find each other and everything like that. So that's great. So for those that are watching, if you want to introduce yourself and just give a little, glimpse into what you go through every day.
I'm Steffi. I am 33. I haven't really been well most of my life, but due to I have a big family and all of that, so I never wanted to cause any issues or anything. I didn't, if you complain about a sore stomach, they're like, whatever, Yeah. But I got really sick on the 1st of January 2018, and I just woke up that day and started vomiting and never ever stopped vomiting again. So it was horrific, especially that first year.
I just gotta go to my Google Meet.
Okay. The first year was absolutely horrific because trying to get anyone to listen to me was really hard. My doctor at the time wrote that I was losing weight because I was happy, and that and then the next time I was losing weight, that I was losing weight because I was stressed out. But the only thing I was stressed out about was that I was losing all this weight rather rapidly.
Right.
And I didn't know why. I lost 50 kgs in 2018 alone. Like, I lost half of my body weight. Yeah.
Wow.
And when I was diagnosed, when I finally got the diagnosis, nobody even told me what it was. They just handed me a piece of paper and they're like, here, take this script and I'll see you in a month. So I had to Google it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
So that was in 2018 when you officially got your diagnosis?
Yep, end of 2018, yeah. By the end of 2018, I was losing the battle so badly. I dropped down to 43 kgs. I'm not sure what pounds are and for you guys, but it was extremely tiny. And I ended up saying yes to the feeding tube because I just didn't know what else to do. I tried everything. I was on a full liquid diet. I was consuming so many calories. I should have been gaining, but I was just losing every day. And I thought I would only have the feeding tube for a little while. I'm a very determined person. Like, I think I can fix everything. And yeah, here we are, like almost 3 years later, and I still have it. Yeah.
Gosh. Now, my question for you, and I want to talk a little about the story that you actually just shared not too long ago. I noticed that you're really big into, you're a great advocate, and you're always trying to post stuff about your life to help other people. And I really love your outlook on the situation. You're trying to make the best of everything. But how does it really affect your day to day? Going through everything that you're going through and still trying to maintain that positive persona?
it is so incredibly hard. But the one sort of advantage that I have is that I am a mum, and when you're a parent, you can't be sick, you can't be tired, you can't have no energy. You still have to do all of that no matter what, or as much as you absolutely can. And my daughter is extremely high energy. She's ADHD, but she's just fantastic. And so I just bounce off her, and she's just got so much positivity and happiness in her that it just floods a freaking room. And it's just non-stop with her. Like, there's dirt bike racing, motocross, there's speedway, she drives a mini stock, she's a boxer, she plays basketball. Like, it just never stops. So I rest for what I can, and I be at everything else that I can. And I don't have time to be sad, and I don't want to bring her down as well. Like, the reality is that this disease will get me one day. None of us are promised a lifetime.
Right.
I'm very aware of the fact that this will get me in one way or another, and I just want to make my time on this planet count. And I just want to show her that no matter what, you just keep on going, because tomorrow's coming. You can't stop it. You just have to. So it is a lot. It's hardest on the mental health, I think, but it's her. That's how I keep going.
Right.
How I stay so positive.
And I love that, because you always see in the movies and things, like in the TV show, you see the mom is sick in bed and the kids got to bring her soup, and, they take care of her mom. And, with everything you go through, you still get out there and you kick ass for your daughter, and you do what you need to do. And, I mean, that's amazing. Like getting to meet all the people that I've met since starting this podcast. Like, you guys inspire the living shit out of me, how you guys can manage and get through all this stuff. And then, like you and Lauren and Robin and James that I spoke to the other day, you all just don't quit.
Yeah, I think it's important having a network like that as well. Like, when you, like Lauren, like, we've been friends online for a couple of years now, and like, that girl has had my back, and I have had her back too. And it makes you not feel so alone, because you can be in an entire room full of people. You can hide your pain and sickness, and nobody has any fucking clue what you're going through. Sorry.
No, you're
and
fine.
It makes you a bit invisible. It makes you a bit invisible. And it also helps having people that are going through the same thing, as much as it sucks that they're going through the same thing, because then it's not me. I'm not doing this to myself. I'm not the only one. Like,
Right.
There was a girl that, when I had to Google gastroparesis, I found a girl online, and her name was Ruby Hill, and we actually lost her to gastroparesis, but she was such a huge advocate. And even in her final hours, she's still messaging those of us that are like, oh my God, what do we do? And still gifting us her time. And when she passed, I swore that I had to keep on advocating for those of us in New Zealand. We are such a small little country, and we have free healthcare, but I promise you it's not free at all. Not at all. So yeah, it's good having a good network. It's really important. Really important.
Great. And like I said, I'm so glad you guys found each other, because you guys are just like unified, and like you said, you all have each other's back, and that's awesome. For me, I was born with mild cerebral palsy. It's really mild. It only affected my back and my legs. But I remember when I was a kid, I had to wear like the leg braces to keep my legs straight, to keep my feet flat on the floor, because I walked on my tippy toes. I basically wore high heels for the first 19 years of my life. But there was no other kids that had anything like that. And the kids would, I didn't necessarily get bullied, but the kids would take my leg braces off when I fell asleep on the bus, and they'd throw them out the window. And those things were freaking expensive. But for me, like, for me, I could have used that support network, because really I had my mom and I had my doctors. That was really it. I didn't. So that's really great. And that kind of segues into what I want to talk about next, because, I've been following your journey for the past couple of weeks since we connected. And I don't want to bash anything, but I've seen you've had quite a headache with the healthcare.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I laugh because I've been done my years through crying about it. You just end up wasting fluids. But healthcare is very terrible when you have a rare disease, because there's no box to tick. There's no section of the book for them to work out of. And then this disease usually either goes, most of the time people have gastroparesis because of either diabetes or something like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And I feel for those who are diabetic, because it is so hard to maintain your body sugar, like your blood, your sugars as it is, without having that. Like, I know friends that are they have such a hard time. But then I have it because of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and then you've got these two diseases that are rare that no one knows about, and you then become the most educated person in the room. And of course, a lot of doctors and specialists take offense to that.
And I know in the interview I was doing the other night with James Ellis, he was saying that, he said, at this point, my doctors are taking my advice. And I was like, okay, that's not the way it should be, but I understand that the disease, I understand that the disease is rare, but the fact that literally, like, over here, there's one doctor that knows about it. It's like, okay, somebody had to have brought this shit up at least once in med school. I mean, did anybody take the notes or anything?
Oh, I know. And it's, this disease, gastroparesis, it actually only has about 10 years of history, approximately. Don't quote me on that, but from the medical articles that I've read, because I'm very fortunate that my specialty nurse, she prints out any documents about gastroparesis that are circuited within the health system, and I get to read them. And one of them said that there was only 10 years of research on it. Well, 10 years ago, I was 23. Like, that's not even that long ago, like, it's just, it's crazy.
It really is. So I know over here, Lauren and all them see, the same doctor, but of course you're in New Zealand. So do you have a pretty good doctor, a gastro doctor that you go to?
So I've seen approximately a dozen different gastro specialists.
Oh, wow.
I'm under 2 at the moment. One is local, and he's an absolute fool. And then I have another one who's not local, but he oversees everything, and he's fantastic. He's just jumped on board. But yeah, I don't have a very good GI specialist, not at all, with my local, but I do have a good team. I have a good dietitian. I have a good specialty nurse. All those sort of things, the continence nurse, those kind of people, they're really great. It's just the specialists. And especially at my hospital here, we can't seem to keep them. They only stay here for like a couple of months at a time, and then they're gone. Oh, wow. When the next one comes in, he wants to start from the start. And I'm like, you need to start from here, not the start, like here. Like,
yeah.
I was actually supposed to have this removed and have permanent tubes done at the end of 2019, but the surgeon who put her hand up to do the surgery then decided to put me on a drug trial instead of doing the surgery. So, like, this is only supposed to be a temporary option.
Right. And then again,
I just seem to want to just do.
Right. And then I know this from following your journey, but I'm guessing with something like gastroparesis, where you vomit a lot, that thing becomes quite a pain in the ass. And I mean, I like I said, I followed your post and I know, but I just want to share that for for the people on the podcast, because it's heart-wrenching to see what you go through.
Yep, it's right in there, and it goes all the way down to my small intestine. It's not where it should be right now because I have had a lot of trouble with it in the last week. I have vomited it up twice in the last 2 days, and I've had to push it back down while I've been vomiting, and that is just that's disgusting. It's just
Yeah.
part of it, and having a tube is hard. It doesn't make life any easier, but if you can get your medicines delivered to where they need to be or almost where they need to be, it helps. I'm only getting about a cup of nutrients a day, but that is more than I would have if I didn't. So this is the only reason why I haven't just gone, nah, I can't do this.
So with everything you go through, you find that it's necessary and you find it worth it. At least you can get your medications and things like that.
Yeah.
That's great. So I know in the United
Yeah.
States, I've found. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're right. You're right.
All right. I know in the United States, I found 4 clinical trials that they had done for gastroparesis in 2020 and 2019, but not a single one of them had any kind of results. Do they have any kind of clinical trials going over there in New Zealand, and have they had any kind of results from them?
I'm not aware of anything that they're doing like on a larger scale other than each specialist doing their own little trial. There are drugs that are supposed to help motility and all that, and I've tried all of them. Some of them I've even tried twice, because oh gosh, I just don't want to give up. Like I'm just waiting for that one day where that one thing will help. It affects people so differently. You can lose weight, you can gain weight, it's horrific. You can get punished for eating or not eating. Like it's brutal. It's very brutal. But yeah.
So we talked with Lauren and James and Robin, and what kind of symptoms do you see on a daily basis? Where are you at in your gastroparesis symptoms?
So I have very severe gastroparesis. My stomach is always sore. Whether I put anything in it or not, it's always sore. The bloating that Lauren gets, I get that too, and I get it so bad that I look worse. I was bigger than I was when I had my daughter. Like it's just like, whoa, gosh. And that can come from a cup of tea or, a couple of mouthfuls of potato or a whole bowl of potato if you can do it. It just doesn't really seem to have a rhyme or reason. My major problems is that I have quite bad intestinal spasms. Hi, are you coming in?
Yeah, not for long though. We're just on a call bunch of my friends.
Okay.
Hello.
The main problem I have is intestinal spasms, and these actually bring me to tears. They're so bad. It feels like it feels like a hurricane. It feels like a hurricane ripping through the stomach, honestly. And the medication that I have to take for it makes me exceptionally tired. So sometimes I put up with the pain just so that I'm not sleeping, I've kind of gotten used to the vomiting, but it's pretty stupid that you have to ever get used to that. But it just is like a normal part of life now.
Yeah, that seemed like that's a pretty shitty thing to have to get used to.
It is, yeah. It really is. And, you know, like, I am an adult, but yet my bowels have caused me so much problems that I have had to use adult diapers. My bladder is paralyzed as well, so I have to use a catheter. Nothing works in my body anymore. It just, not without medical intervention, and I'm grateful for the help. I'm so grateful for it. But I really wish it wasn't like this.
Right, and I can understand that, and that kind of brings me to a question. You know, I'm kind of curious, but you know, I don't want to get too personal. So if it's too personal, that's okay. You don't have to answer it. But you know, with you having a daughter, would you feel that you would be able to get pregnant at this stage in your life, or is it, you know, you getting
No,
right?
I think there's a whole bunch of reasons for that. One, I'm so malnourished that my body is just falling apart. Like, it has been progressively, at the start of at the end of 2018, only my stomach was paralyzed. And now most of my intestine is, and my bladder as well. And I think that I can't even get enough nutrients to myself, let alone to a child. And looking after myself is like having a child anyway. I don't think I would. I have the nap every day. I've got to like pack a bag for whenever I need to go anywhere, even if it's just to go pick up some scripts or something, because you never know what could go wrong. It's a lot of work looking after me, and I just don't think I could. I think that it wouldn't be fair to bring a child into this world that wasn't given enough to eat to start off with.
Right.
It's my problem. Like, I'm starving. I don't think I could knowingly do that to a baby.
Right, and the reason why I bring
And
that
then
up
also too,
the reason why I bring that up is just because, you know, you're so young. You're 33 years old, and for, you know,
yeah,
you have your daughter. You know, you have your blessing, and it's just, it's sad to think that there are people that are so young, and if you hadn't have had your daughter when you did, then you would never be able to bear children. And for all the other people out there that are younger going through this, you know, I wanted to point out that, you know, that's just something that happens, and, you know, that's just one other way that it affects somebody's life that nobody really thinks about.
yeah. Well, I definitely wanted more children, definitely, but that's I've passed the genetic condition on to my daughter that is the cause of why I've got gastroparesis as well. I can't do that. Like, I just can't. Couldn't do it.
And now with your daughter, you know, you said that, you know, she's she's racing the dirt bikes and she's doing all kinds of stuff. But what's something that you guys kind of do together that's kind of your time? Like, that's where you guys really connect.
Oh wow. We do, I don't know, we do so much together. Like, we love going for drives though. So drives and iced chocolate are our thing. So she loves it because she gets to have one and a half, because I can only get through at the most half of my drink. So she gets these 2 iced chocolates while we're out for a boost in the car. And, you know, we might go out for a drive to the beach or what have you. It depends on the day. But, you know, there's that. And she's just always close, you know, we're sharing everything together. Her motocross I can only go to if it's local, and speedway as well. But I have a powered electric wheelchair, so I can get around and boost around, and she steals it off me and rides around on it as well. And so I don't know, we're like this. We're very, 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 very close.
That's amazing. So I've just about wrapped up all the questions that I really had for you, but one of the things that I've been asking in the interviews for the Gastroparesis series is, with everything that you've been through and everything that you've still yet to, or that you still have to overcome, coming for the future, what is your hope, not only for yourself, but for the future of gastroparesis as a diagnosis?
Understanding. That is the big thing, because these, there's a lot of people in my team, because you have a lot of people who deal with different organs. So it's really sad when the radiologist or the gynecologist or the rheumatologist know more about your gastrointestinal disease than your gastrointestinal specialist.
Yes.
So I would hope for more understanding across the board, because we're so labeled as like, oh, just don't think about it and you won't be sick. Like, oh my God, really? Like, I hadn't thought of that. Just more understanding and working with the patient, not with a book.
Right.
Right. That's what I would hope for. Just more understanding. Knowledge is power. Knowledge can heal.
And we have so many more ways for them to get the knowledge, and if they would get their nose out of the books, they could really learn a whole lot more.
100%. I've said that to them so many times. You want a live rat? I'm here. I'm here. Right. I want to work with you guys. I want to do this. But like I said, they keep shifting, and it's just so hard, to build up a relationship with anyone. They can be so nice to your face and then write the meanest things about you in your notes when you leave.
Right.
So yeah, more understanding, definitely.
That's great. So for you personally, what is your message that you want to send out to all the people watching this that are probably thinking that, oh wow, maybe I should go see if I got gastroparesis, or for all the people that they're going through the symptoms but they haven't got that diagnosis because of the lack of understanding and the lack of knowledge in the medical field? What is your message for those people that are going to be following in your guys' footsteps with the gastroparesis as it continues to grow and more people get diagnosed?
Yeah. Keep your chin up, because this shit is hard. I do suggest finding someone within your DHB, like a social worker or counselor, to attend your appointments, because then you've got a witness that's on your side, that works within the DHB, and you've also got someone to lean on, because this is hard. The other thing is, nobody knows your body like you do. So you keep pushing, you keep saying this isn't right. You keep asking for tests, you keep going, because only you know you. They're there to help you, not to punish you. Somehow along the lines, I think doctors and specialists got too much power.
Yep.
But we as a people, we're powerful. You just got to remember it. You just got to believe in yourself.
I love that. I absolutely love it. That's great. Well, that's all the questions I had for you. And I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you taking your time out of the future to come back in time with me to Indiana and the United States and talking about gastroparesis and everything going on. So thank you so much for taking the time out. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me, honestly. I have a question for you before we go, though.
Of course.
If you can sum it up, what's the one thing you take away from talking to me, Robin, Lauren?
That is an amazing question. I love that. And see, everybody that I have talked to since I've started this, I'm like, look, this shit has got to end. Like, something has got to happen, because just listening to the stories, it's like, what the hell is going on here? And you know, just like the other night, I was talking to Lauren and James, and I haven't posted that interview yet, but you know, we were talking about it, and you know, if you have a dog who is sick and you need to take him to the vet, I feel like some of these people would treat their dog better than they would treat human beings. And just to see
Oh
people
yeah.
just to see people suffer and then just be like, oh well, it's just a stomach ache or something like that, like it's bullshit. And it really makes me realize that the health system, no matter where in the world it is, it's bullshit. And you know, that's my opinion, but you know, like I've said before, this is my show, so I guess I could give my opinion. But you know, it's just,
Love it.
to sum it up, we have to listen to people because there's so much shit that people are going through that we don't understand. Like, I still haven't the slightest clue what gastroparesis is, but talking to you guys and learning what you go through, I don't give a shit what gastroparesis is. What I give a shit about is how it's affecting people's lives, and nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah. We're all starving for a cure out here trying to get awareness.
Right. And that's why we're here. You know, like, you know,
Thank you so much.
I don't have the biggest audience, but you know, it's getting shared, the word's getting out. You know, people are calling me and texting me and asking me about this, like, hey, what is this? And you know, I'm explaining it the best I can. I'm like, hey, you got to Google it. Or, you know,
Yeah, and it's scary when you Google it.
yeah, it definitely gets scary when you Google it, especially when you find 4 clinical trials and no results for it whatsoever.
Yeah, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
All right. Thank you so very, very much for taking the time. And thank you for asking me that. I appreciate that because I like to, you know, I'm a bit of an activist myself. And if I find something worth my time, then I definitely want to shout it from the rooftops.
Oh, yes, you're one of us. One of us. One of us. No, I love it. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak, because I speak for all, like for many, not just for myself, but for many. Together we are so much stronger. So much.
Definitely. All right. Well, give our best to your daughter, and you guys, you know, keep kicking ass.
Will do. That's all there's time for.
Right. That's it. All right. Thank you so very, very much. I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.